Hey everybody, this is Kyle and Adam at ProjectionHub, back with another edition of SBA Burning Questions, where we like to answer frequently asked questions or things people have reached out to ask us as they consider starting businesses, buying businesses, growing businesses, and thinking about using SBA as the primary way to fund that. So today's episode, and we've done a few episodes like this in the past, where we take interesting, relevant Reddit posts of people seeking some advice or some feedback for things involving the SBA. And I found one here that we're gonna read to Adam and kind of get his sage wisdom on how he would advise this person if he was talking to them. So, broker refusing to share financials pre-LOI. And this person says they're an engineer looking to acquire their first business, and they've been searching for about a year. They recently found an HVAC company, top end of their budget, $2.7 million. When they initially spoke with the broker and asked for some basic financials, just a P&L to start, he deflected and said he should talk with the owner in person, set up a meeting. Meeting went great. Mentioned that the business had been on the market for 6 years because the brothers keep sending him hedge fund types, or the brokers keep sending him those. But he seemed to prefer an individual buyer, independent buyer. After the meeting, he reached out to the broker and asked for the add backs to verify the claimed 700,000 SDE, seller's discretionary earnings, as well as the lease details. The broker is now pushing back, claiming I must sign an LOI and put down a refundable escrow deposit before they'll release any further info. I've dealt with a lot of brokers over the last year, and they've all eagerly shared that information, the financial statements before an LOI. I plan on telling them next week I can't make a formal offer or valuation without seeing those. Am I in the wrong here? Is this common, or is this a broker just being difficult? So what do you think, Adam? Would that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up a bit, or what's going on?
Yeah, it is a little bit more common, I think, now. Well, there's a couple of weird things about this. So the fact that it's been on the market for 6 years is like really strange. My first reaction was, well, it's an HVAC company. These are really hot. Everybody wants to acquire this type of business. It's got 700,000 SDE. It's an attractive business. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of demand for this. But then they said it's been on the market for 6 years. So my initial reaction was, when if this went on the market here in Indianapolis, there'd probably be 50 offers above asking price within a week. So the broker doesn't want to spend a bunch of time emailing back and forth with people if they know, hey, I've got somebody that's, going to give me asking price. So it's almost like you just have to kind of, you want the deal, you got to sign the LOI knowing that it's can be contingent on financing. It's non-binding. And then, you might have to put in a escrow deposit just to show that you're serious. That wouldn't shock me if that is actually the case in some situations. But the fact that this one's been on the market for 6 years, it does seem weird in this particular case. So I don't know. I would say red flags about this one being on the market for so long, but reasonable in other similar situations, I think.
It feels like it's not a blanket rule that, like, if broker won't provide certain information before signing an LOI, that means they have something to hide. I don't think that that's necessarily, at least from like what you've shared with me over the years and a lot of the clients we've worked on, it's usually more of an indication of just like the broker's style, or maybe the seller's really picky. I don't know. If they've been able to hold out for that long, maybe there's just, like you said, they don't want to waste their time with people who aren't that interesting. I'm curious to ask you, because it seems to be something maybe the buyer, the buyer in this case, isn't quite comfortable with, or maybe they're confused about, is it seems like they're kind of skeptical about signing the LOI, like as if that feels like an irreversible step, or like they're like a gotcha or something. And I don't know if you can speak to that a little bit, that, like you said, it's non-binding, so it's not like you probably shouldn't go around just like signing LOIs willy-nilly. And maybe the shield there is you have to put in that you have to put the cash up. So you probably don't want to do that all over the place. But can you speak to that a little bit, of like people you've worked with, and when they take that step and it doesn't work out, like, is there really much risk or downside? And be like, well, we took that step, we realized it wasn't what we're interested in, and being able to back out of that. Like, I don't think that this person should really be scared of taking that step in this case.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a question about the refundability of the deposit and like whether the LOI is non-binding. I guess I've mostly had clients run into issues where they're working with me trying to figure out, should they make an offer? What kind of offer should they make? In the meantime, we come to the conclusion that it's a great deal. They want to make an offer. They reach back out to the broker, and the broker says, went under LOI yesterday. And so in those situations, I'm like, oh man, just if you've got a deal that sounds like it might be good, send the LOI yesterday, like just send it. Now, I think that could be frowned upon. There's probably maybe some sort of risk there. I'm not a lawyer, so I think I usually say, like, as long as you're saying that it's like contingent on financing, that's a good contingency. Because if the financials come back and you realize like there's some major misstatements, like there wasn't actually 700,000 SDE, well then you're not going to be able to get the financing for the amount that you offered, and you kind of have your way out. But yeah, I've seen it more on the side of clients lose out on a deal because they don't submit an LOI fast enough.
Yep, that makes sense. Innately, I think it's just when you're going through this. I mean, also this checks out, to cut this guy some slack too. He said, looking to acquire my first business, been searching for about a year. So it's like they haven't gone through the process of actually signing an LOI and opening up that next phase of due diligence and kind of figuring things out. It's like they haven't done that before. So, maybe just trying to be sure before they do the first one. But yeah, just an interesting one there. So we thank you for your guidance and feedback. If this Redditor is out there, they're going to watch this video and they're going to have wished they signed the LOI or wish they would have heard your advice before they saw it. So if you're out there and, particularly if you're exploring or thinking about buying a business and you're going to kind of go through this process, if you've got questions, whether that's after seeing preliminary financial data or whatever, feel free to reach out. We offer a free SBA review. It is exactly what it sounds like. We ask some questions to get a high level understanding of the deal or the prospect, and can give you some, unbiased and free feedback on if we think pricing makes sense, or if you'll, have any difficulty, pursuing an SBA loan, or some key questions to think about. Feel free to take advantage of that. Link down below, and reach out to us at support@ProjectionHub.com if you've got any other questions, and we'd be happy to try to help. So like the video if you enjoyed it here, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.